And this is the path to ownership. Next slide. Now, there are three different ways to start a business. There are five different bullets, but all of them can be confined into three different ways. Next slide. The first way is an independent or grassroots business. I told you about Mission Vision Partner. I told you about mine that's called Poly's Organics, the organic air freshener or the neutralizer company. That's an organic business, new business creation. Okay. This is one for those who gotta have control. If you gotta have control and be creative, you want to do something that's independent and create your own. Because as it relates to franchises or buying an existing, it's a little more difficult to make that work. If it's in your soul that I got to be in 100% control and I got to be able to make creative control, but it's your idea going into the business. The cool thing about it is you have creative autonomy. You are the boss. You are the creative director. The bad news is that it all falls on your shoulder initially. If you grow to a point that you have other people working with you, then you don't have to worry about that. But initially, it falls on your shoulder. It has a little high risk, but the reward is when the business booms, it's boom for you. It's not to be shared. And again, as you can see, you have the most control. And the neat thing about business is that, and I'm not going to get super spiritual with you. I'm a spiritual guy, but I'm not going to get super spiritual with you, is that all businesses start in the same realm. All of them start in the spirit as an idea. Okay. All businesses start without any manifestation of a product being created or a business plan being written. All of them start in the mind as an idea. And that's what I call spiritual. All of them start there. Whether you are Apple, whether you are Nike, whether you are Pizza Hut, all of them start spiritual and then they manifest. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very kindly. Um, Next slide. All right. Or you purchase an existing. Okay. So when you purchase an existing, this is also one, as the gentleman mentioned before, that his wife's family are business owners. So if he was to purchase an existing, this is the track that we're talking about. Or you became owner and somebody gave you a business, or you worked for a grocery store like a Piggly Wiggly, and you had stock and you purchased more stock and you bought the business that way. That's purchasing existing business. The neat thing is you're kind of buying a book of business. You're buying something that has been proven to make some money. It's a proven brand. You know the customers coming in if you worked at them. I have a veteran. We helped him do a business in Hopkinsville called Bikes and More that used to be owned by a gentleman named Mr. Moore. So the guy, and they sell very nice bicycles. This is not like, I'm not going to use a brand name, but they sell some of the. You may get a bike in there for $400, or you may get a bike in there for $4,000. But the benefit is you're buying an existing book of business. You know that the business have worked. Whereas the con of buying an existing business is that maybe the owner was not transparent with you because there's not a rule or something that you have to disclose everything. So they may have fudged something. Maybe they didn't include everything on their taxes and you did review their taxes. And maybe the employees don't like you like they like the previous owner. And they say, well, I quit and I'm going to take my 8 to 12 years of institutional knowledge with me, find somebody else. And now that has hurt your business if you purchase an existing. But it is a good option as well. And then the last slide. This is the family business. We talked about that. But before we go past this slide, relationships can be strained. If you are in business with a wife, then it's hard not to separate. We argued last night at dinner. Now we got to go into the office together at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. And is that tension still there? Or is it a niece and or a cousin or a brother? So you want to make sure that you have some really good conversations and you have a really good relationship with that person, because there will be times when you disagree. Next slide. The employee to ownership is what we talked about. A lot of times you see them with grocery stores and things where the employees get stock and they say we are an employee-owned company, and the same rewards. Next slide. And then last but not least, as you see what FranNet is about 30 years old. a little older of a franchise consulting company. And I like to explain to people we're like $1 million matchmakers for those that want to start a business. If you can remember that old show, The Dating Game, that's what we do with clients and smart and franchisors, to where we'll meet with you. You will tell me, Henry, this is who I am as a person. This is what motivates me. This is what I like. And I will go for, and these are the type of businesses that I want to fit my lifestyle, which is super important. So much detail. Well, I'll ask you, what type of employees do you want to work with? Are you comfortable working with high schoolers, or do you want to work with seniors, or do you need somebody that's a little more professional and has a degree? Because, for example, if we're looking at a Little Caesars, then you're going to work mostly with youngsters. So do you have patience to work with those teenagers or college kids? Because you're not going to have many bachelors in there, those who have bachelor degrees working for you. So those things are important. And then we talk about other things as well. Do you want to have a retail facility, what we kind of call inbound sales, or do you want to have a home-based business, or do you want an industrial location? All of those things go to determining what franchise fits better. And what you're doing with a franchise is, and I'll introduce them to you, and you can have a kind of quick conversation. If you love them, you buy them. It's no cost to it as well. So my license doesn't allow me to charge or accept a dime from anybody that I service as a franchise consultant. But you're carrying out specific commercial activities. Next slide. The advantages is that there's no doubt that the business works. The question is, can you make it work? That's the question. There's no doubt that the business works. Some brands are recognized; they exist. If and that changes based on geographic location. Also, some franchises are not national. Those type of things, to where you don't see the same ones everywhere. That's also important. The cool thing is that you're in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself. So a lot of franchisors do really good training, whereas on the downside, you have to pay a franchise fee. That franchise fee can be, as low as 8 to 10,000, as high as 60 to 70,000, and it's transactional. Okay, you're getting into the family, but you're buying your way into the family. Okay, uh, and that is a fee that you pay, and that is your initial payment to use the rights to the company, to use the names of the company, and then royalties I do every year based on your gross revenue generally, and they can go from 2 to 4 to 6 to 8 to 8 to 12%. And that's a fixed cost of the business that you pay for ongoing support with marketing and things of that nature. And they're really neat. And my factor is always based on, again, if you are super creative and it's just a part of your soul, and you have got to put your 2 cents into anything. You can't just follow your mom or dad's or cousin's recipe. You got to sprinkle something of your own in there as well. Then you got to question is, am I going to follow this business to the T? They don't need you to own a franchise to know how to make pizza in order to run a pizza facility. They need you to know how to interact with customers and manage a team. Is take the things that you've learned in the military, your experiences, good and bad, all lessons learned, and apply them either to an existing business or to a future business.